Some people are born into a name. But a name is not a life. A name is not a song. A name is not a voice in the dark deciding what it wants to become. Tonight's guest comes from one of the most storied bloodlines in R&B history. But what struck me most is not the legacy behind him. It's the weight of deciding, what do we do with it? Because inheriting music is one thing. Living inside the inheritance is something else entirely. What does it mean to grow up in the echo of greatness? What does it mean to love where you come from without disappearing inside it? And how do you honor a family sound while still finding the one thing every real artist has to find for themselves, their own truth? Eldra DeBarge Jr. is not just carrying a famous name. He is writing from inside it, building from it, arguing with it, reclaiming it, and turning it into something raw, modern, personal, and fully his own. His music pulls from R&B, hip-hop, jazz, and Caribbean influences. But more than genre, what runs through his work is identity. Love, loss, pride, rebellion, redemption. The long, private work of becoming yourself. And maybe that's what this conversation is really about. Not fame, not nostalgia, not even legacy, but what it means to be the next chapter in a story everyone thinks they already understand. This is Doyle. I'm here with Howie, and tonight's Spirit Talk Show Bedtime Stories for Grown-Ups, we sit with Eldra DeBarge Jr. for a conversation about music, inheritance, artistry, and the courage it takes to become your own voice when the world is already listening for someone else. Welcome to Spirit Talk Show, Bedtime Stories for Grown-Ups. I'm Doyle, and tonight we're joined by a singer, songwriter, performer, and storyteller, Eldra DeBarge Jr. Eldra DeBarge Jr. comes from one of the most recognizable musical families in modern R&B. But he's not simply here to revisit a legacy. He's here as an artist in his own right. Somebody building a sound that is emotionally honest, genre fluid, and deeply personal. According to his artist bio, his music blends hip-hop, R&B, jazz, and Caribbean influences, while exploring love, loss, rebellion, redemption, and self-discovery. His debut album, The Lion's Den, introduced the narrative instinct years ago. And his newer work, including the single I'm a Prince, keeps pushing that identity forward. His independent path was also recognized with the 2025 Radio Connect Award with the Best Indie R&B Male Artist of the Year. There's another layer to this conversation that I find especially moving. When you listen to stories about his father, about where the family's music came from, you hear something deeper than industry success. You hear calling, you hear discipline, you hear family, you hear music spoken about almost like destiny. Something prayed over, shaped in hardship, and passed through one generation into the next. So tonight we're talking to Eldra DeBarge Jr., not just about songs and career milestones, but about what it means to inherit a powerful musical bloodline and still fight to become yourself inside it. This is a conversation about artistry, identity, legacy, and making a voice not imitated, but earned. And here's my conversation with Eldra DeBarge Jr. Hello. Hello.
Hey, how you doing?
Hi. So I'm trying to decide, is your first name L, or is L short for something?
It's Eldra.
Eldra. So should I call you Eldra DeBarge today, or I'll call you Eldra? How should I?
Well, we're moving into Eldra. I would love Eldra, but Eldra DeBarge always works. We never run from that.
Okay. Well, yeah. I mean, that's, it's your legacy, but I want you to be able to make who you are as your own person. You've got obviously a very deep legacy, but you got to do you too, right?
Thank you. I think this has very much what today is about, is telling our story, right?
So I'm here with, you met me when we met. I was with Howie. He is in the studio with me here.
I don't know. You can't see me, but I'm off to the side.
He doesn't. I know.
How are you, Howie?
I'm good. How are you?
Well, wow. Thank you.
We're excited to have you.
Yeah,
I'm excited to be here, man. I was very inspired by our brief meeting.
Yeah, I mean, it was obviously you have a name that people know, and we talked about that briefly, but we also, looking you up and listening to your music, you have such a pretty strong hold too. So this needs to be about you. I mean, obviously
Thank you.
Want to talk about your uncles and your dad and your aunts and that legacy. Obviously, people like to hear about that, but we want to hear about your music. Thank you for the sample you sent to me. I listened, and we'd like to, if you're like open to it, we can play a segment in the piece tonight. I mean, probably.
Yeah, I would love that. I'm absolutely open to that. Thank you guys for being willing.
So, I am recording right now. I can pause it because I know we were going to talk a little bit about what topics you, because I usually record from the start because I like that banter at the beginning too. But let me pause it for a second so we can have a brief conversation. Hold
on. I'm like, my eyes are getting hot now just thinking about what I went through after that conversation that you and I had and all of us in that car.
Yeah.
And I really would like to share my story and my truth. I really would.
Well,
I've been going over it and making sure I'm not being vindictive and just making sure I have the right mind frame and everything. And it's something I would like to address.
The one thing that inspired me about you is I could immediately tell when I met you there was a truth in you and there was an honesty, and you immediately made me feel like someone I felt connected with, and you were just spewing this honesty like from your every pore as that can be spoke to you. And
that's me.
And I don't I mean, I'll be honest, like Howie recognized your father's name before I do, because I'm not I haven't listened to a lot of R&B, but I know he's a fan, and so I definitely know the songs, but I would love to talk about the legacy and that story. We're open to any of that. So, so you started, your father is Eldra DeBarge. He was the R&B singer in the 90s,
80s and 90s. Yeah.
The 80s and 90s, and of course,
yes,
there was a group called DeBarge too, right? And that was your uncles and aunties, and so.
Yes.
So can you talk about your involvement with that organization, or if that was after that? I mean, you're too young to have worked with them in the 80s, but probably in the...
Yeah, so I myself, I'll just put everything out here. We'll do a little transparency moment. So I was born in 83.
Okay.
And that's when they were coming into it, mostly. There is the first group, which was called Switch.
Yeah.
Which was my Uncle Bobby.
Mm-hmm.
And my Uncle Tommy. I always mix him and Mark up. Yeah, and Tommy. So they were in Switch. And then after that, my Uncle Bobby used that opportunity to be able to walk the family in. And so that's where the more notable DeBarge family came from, with my father and my other uncles and aunts as well. So it's like, I mean, do you mind if I just kind of get into it?
Oh yeah, please. We have no structure in the show. We have, if you want to just lay it out, we'll do that.
Yeah, I kind of just want to lay it out because it's just been on my spirit, man. And I think the most important thing about me sharing my story right now is the inspiration that will come from it for people to understand.
That's great.
That life is all the same. It doesn't matter where you start, the judgments that come. We all go through things in life. Mm-hmm. And I wanted to just be inspirational. So it's like, I mean, obviously I come from like one of the most recognized musical families. You know, DeBarge, they're heavily, heavily sampled, but the story, like, it's not just about legacy. Mm-hmm. So like, I went through that period I was trying to live up to someone else. And I kind of had to ask myself, like, who am I, without all this life? And so that question kind of took me through everything, like success, sacrifice, confusion, pain, eventually back to myself. So it's kind of like me telling the story of what it's like to lose yourself and find your way back.
That's great.
Because I went through some real things.
Yeah, yeah.
So as I'm figuring this out, there was a kind of a period where I stepped away from working with music because of my manager at the time. And business wasn't right, especially around money. Then I really realized, like, I figured I can do this on my own, you know?
Yeah.
So there was one phase of life where everything started to, like, click for me, right? So I'm building real momentum. I'm out there, like, I got invited to tour with Melanie Fiona.
Oh, wow.
And I'm connecting with artists like Marsha Ambrosius on my little tour. And getting in these rooms, I'm really finally feeling like I'm validating myself as an artist. And I had this moment as an independent artist that was, like, huge. I'm doing, what was that song? Aston Martin Music. It was by Rick Ross. And I did my version of it called Boston. And literally people started, like, calling me and texting me, and they hit me up, and they're like, you know, we're hearing this song on the radio. And I'm like, that's completely not possible, because obviously, you know, I don't have any budget. It's just me. I'm doing this on my own and everything. Mm-hmm. And long story short, it literally is my song on the radio. They send me a cease and desist letter.
Oh.
And I'm like, whoa.
Who sent you?
So Rick Ross's
wow.
company, the Maybach Music Group, Entertainment. So they sent it, emailed it, and sent it to my physical address. So I'm like, wow, like I'm literally doing something here on my own. I'm getting notoriety. I'm getting actual radio, terrestrial radio. This is huge. So I'm really feeling myself. You know, I knew I had something. And so as we start to move on, this is the part of the story that really starts getting itchy and deep. My dad is like a huge legacy, a huge legend, excuse me.
Yes.
And he's been everything to me in my life, like everything. Like a son can love his father no more. And so you would just automatically think that I was raised with access to things because he had access to things. But it wasn't necessarily the case. But I still had that monkey on my back, that chip on my shoulder. I wanted to prove something. So as I'm going through this, he's coming and he's going through his second chance era. This is a little later in life, probably around 2012 or something like that. Yeah. 2009 to 2012. So he's on his second chance album. He's signed with Interscope Geffen right now. And he's gracious to me. He's letting me tour with him. We're going and doing Florida, and he challenges me and makes me step up, and I'm feeling like, wow, you know, this is amazing. I've got my self-validation. I'm out here touring with my dad. Like, this is, this really can't get no better. And I'm just kind of buzzing in life, man. And then things get a little shaky. And
like, were you singing in your dad's concerts, or were you helping him? Were you actually performing? Wow. Okay.
I was actually performing. He allowed me to perform my album
and
go along with him.
It's amazing, yeah. But then,
and so, yeah, go ahead.
Oh, sorry. Then and then you said something got itchy. Then after that,
yeah. So we're rolling now. I mean, it's at the point where I'm getting people are singing my songs. We're touring with New Edition. He's doing his tour, and everything's just kind of flying. And so we get to a more personal moment. We're back at the house. And I really want to, you know, talk to my dad. You know, hey, Daddy, like, how am I doing?
Yeah.
You know? And I asked him, like, you know, do you really think I can do this? And he told me, he's like, well, you're okay. Oh. You know, you're not really that great. You might have an average career, but I don't know if you'll ever have a big hit.
Oh, sorry.
And that, like, ruined everything. It just broke me.
That's hard to hear from Dad, yeah.
And like, and I love this man.
Yeah.
I love this man. So not long after that, different moment, but same scenario. We're in the house, and he looks at this magazine cover, and he's on the magazine, and he says, son, you know, that's all I That's all I know how to be. And I just sat with that. Like, I didn't really...
What do you mean he meant the context of that when he said that's all I'm able to be?
Like, it felt like he was telling me that this is who I am. I'm a star, Eldra DeBarge, and these other capacities that you're looking for me to be as a father, I don't have that, and I'm not going to provide that to you. But it wasn't in like I hate you or I don't want to give this to you. It was a confession of the limitations that the music industry had provided to him. This is who I am, son.
You know,
this is me.
He said I listened to an interview of his from Questlove. Have you heard the interview?
I don't think so.
He's on a podcast called Questlove Supreme, Eldra DeBarge, the Question Love Show.
Okay.
And he said something like that. He said, you know, I have these people I love, but all I know how to be is this artist, and this is all. He said something like that. It's interesting that you brought it up because he said something about that too. That people are living their lives, and I love them, and they're in my heart, but I just know how to do this, and they're living their life, and I don't necessarily pursue being with them in that way because he's pursuing his career. And how does that make you feel? Is that what you got from that?
Yeah, that's that exact moment. That literally is that exact. And I had to learn to accept that as a son. Because when I look at Kobe, I can accept it.
Yeah.
I can accept the fact that he had to sacrifice because he was going to go into greatness. But when it's my daddy,
yeah,
you know, I want my daddy.
Well, I mean,
so that's the inner child in me that still, you know, that yearns for that.
And you think that people in that position can't give both, or just he can't give both, or is it?
I know it's absolutely possible for human beings to do both.
Yeah.
But what the important part for me was to learn to love and accept my father for what he does, and not judge and blame him based on the capabilities or the results of others.
Well, I mean,
which is a long struggle.
So when he said the thing about you having an average career, and I don't mean to judge or put knowledge on what I think he meant by that, but do you think that was motivated by any like jealousy, or was he concerned that you were too good, or that you were showing him up, or was he anxious about his revamping of his career and he didn't want to be shown up?
Well, see, those are the type of things that I would have to allow him to answer.
Yeah, of course.
Because if I step anywhere into that area, then I'm being judgmental. And not only being judgmental, I'm being judgmental against my father and against my own legacy. I can't do that.
When you're on the tour and your name, obviously, you know, you have this name that people probably when people hear your name, they have assumptions. And so, what do you most understand about, you know, how people like treat you? Do people treat you differently? Like you're like this, you're supposed to be this person that's supposed to be the reflection of this greatness?
Oh yeah, absolutely. I mean, I'm supposed to be his greatness personified and bettered. And so there's that catch-22. That's that double-edged sword. Because I have all of the talent. I have all the good looks. When you look at me, the package is there.
Yeah.
But I don't have the access and the operational capital and the other things that would go along with it. Like when you see a Kanye West and you see Northwest, you immediately know the legacy. Like, oh yeah, North is going to be awesome, and you automatically assume that the access is going to be there as well as the capital. Even if she didn't have it herself, it would be offered for her to be able to pursue her goals.
I do think that there are people that are going to think that you have access to a lot of things that other people don't have access to. And you're saying you don't have any access to that at all, or you just don't have as much
zero
access.
Zero access, because there was a lot of blackballing going on. There was a lot of stiff arming. There was a lot of keeping me out of the circle, keeping me out of, like, look at the first documentary. Look at all the DeBarge documentaries.
Yeah.
They'll show the whole second generation, and I am not present. And I'm literally his namesake. And there was a reason for that, because I'm the person that, like, I stand up for truth and righteousness. And if they included me in those things, I would have been standing up for truth and righteousness in everybody's face. And they just, they wouldn't have liked that. So they'd rather just get their production done.
Well, I always struggle with this. Like when I've met the children of stars and stuff and famous people, and I'm sure people treat you like, well, you only have this. Because I was reading that you won the 2025 Radio Connect Award for Best Indie R&B Male Artist. There are going to be people that think like, well, he just got that because of his daddy. But I don't believe that, because you're an individual. I've listened to your sound. It's very unique and it's very great. And it's very, as much as my humble opinion means anything. But you are your own person, your own artist that won this. But how'd you deal with the people saying, well, daddy just helped him get that? Which is not true, of course, I know.
Well, that's the thing, is that, okay, well then I'll tell you another part of my story then.
Yeah.
Let me say, that's a great way to segue to this. So here's some of the things that I've gone through that'll definitely prove itself. So, I mean, not even long after that moment of me and my father going through that, I actually decided to put my career aside. Here's a big one. I'm like flying. Like my career is mega booming. And for an independent, like I was telling you, like I was getting ready to go. The deals are on the table. It's just popping off for me. And it wasn't like that for Pops. Things started unraveling a little bit. And it got to the point to where there was actually a drug dealer managing my father. Mm-hmm. And he was double dipping on my dad. And so he's taking management percentage and he's providing product to my father.
I know there's a...
And the only reason I would say this is because this is already a known part of his life. Yeah. It's not something that I'm throwing out. I'm not throwing dirt on him. So no one in his life helps him. No family, no friends, nothing. He's just stuck with this goon of a man.
Yeah, yeah.
And so I was like, you know what? I'm not having this. I'm going to take my little 120-pound self and I'm going to get in between this 250-pound big giant man and my father, and I'm going to do the right things. And so I just, finessed my way into the situation, and try to make it seem like, I was just tagging along. And then I started taking over managerial positions. And eventually I remember there was a situation where I'm literally face to face in like a 4x4 bathroom with this goon, like not a hip hop record, not this is cool to make this. This is real life. This is me in front of another gentleman that could snap me like a twig. And he's got every reason and motivation to keep everything that he's got going on. And I'm standing there scared for my life, telling this man that, hey, you're going to stop all of this and I'm taking over everything. And I was scared, but I just stood there anyway because that's my father.
Yeah.
And so I get him to the place that he's supposed to be. And then Pops just cuts me off. Like, out of nowhere, just like, no conversation, and I was just left sitting with that. And, that stayed with me.
So you mean, like, he wasn't in the bathroom. He means after that, your dad didn't contact you anymore.
No, okay, I'm sorry. I'm jumping in the story.
Yeah.
Let me slow down because I'm just excited about everything.
Yeah.
So, let me go back. Dad doesn't have the management situation. I step in. We're on tour. Mm-hmm. On tour, I notice some things that are going on. I stop the tour bus. I say, hey, we got to go in here and have a talk. It's the little side dive bar. If you imagine the scene, you're like looking at, it's like Waco, Texas type scenario. Small town, but still known.
Yeah.
And, we're just in there face to face, man to man, having the conversation. I'm scared shitless. And, but I just have to stand there. And so then he eventually just tells me, hey, I respect you. we both know you can't handle me, but I respect what you're trying to do for your pop, so I'm gonna back off. So then we get back in the van, and we're doing more shows, but he's just giving me lip. He wasn't really gonna actually stop. So then we get another scenario in the hotel, and me and the guy are about to go to fisticuffs again, and my dad stops us, and eventually I was able to get control of the scenario and get him out of the picture, get my dad back to where he was supposed to be in the view of society, in the view of the promotions, and just get him back on track. And then right at the height of that, my dad just decides to let me go and just completely says, hey, you're not doing this anymore. No more decision making by you. You know, I got this. I don't need you anymore. Just cut me off.
Fired you. Actually told you you're fired, right? Or
yeah, literally.
And was that happened in a hotel? It happened on the tour bus, or happened?
No, it just happened on a phone.
Oh.
It was just a random phone call after we came back from everything.
Wow.
Everything was cool, and then he just hit me up and was just like, "Hey, you're fired." And I was like, "Wow." So, but that's like my father. So I'm going through this up down scenario because I love this man so much. So it's like I still want to hang around, and so I'm still taking care of his social media, and I decide I'm gonna take like the little money that he's giving me, and I'm gonna save up for Uber. And that moment ended up being way bigger than I thought, because I actually met my wife doing Uber. And this all has an important point that I'm coming to, because pretty much around that time that I met my wife and things going on with my father, and I'm just kind of hanging around, this is when I start to wake up and realize, hey, like, this is kind of crazy the way that you're living. This is more like Jerry Springer TV. Like, what's really going on? So I'm driving around, and I'm driving my ex-girlfriend at my dad's behest, because he's involved with her, and she's confessing all this stuff to me. And that's like the straw that broke the camel's back. And I'm like, what is going on? This is absolutely not normal. This is not okay. And seeing my wife and my wife's life, and that's what helped me start recognizing normalcy. Because when you're around things so much, you don't know that that's not everybody's life.
Mm-hmm. Yeah.
So to say, I guess my point is, in saying that at that point, is like to assume that I would be given something by an entity that just severely takes is absolutely not the case. But the thing is that my father is still the best thing in my life. Like, I don't want it to come across as like I'm trying to bash my father or make it seem like he's not a worthy man. I just want to tell my side of the story and help people understand what it really is like being the son of a legend, and what it really is like, what my story really is, so that people can not assume. And it, like I was saying, I was going through so much just thinking about it, the turmoil, that it actually ended up giving me confidence. And that's one of the most important parts, I think, about this storytelling to me.
That's great. You own your, you are allowed to own your story. You're allowed to tell your truth and your story in a way that's healthy for you. That's not necessarily that saying he's done bad things. I know you said he fired you, but I mean, I don't know what he would say the reason for that is, but I mean, we all have situations with our parents, but I wonder, at what age did you, like, when you were born, right, in 83, was he in your life at the beginning? Like, at what age did you realize, wow, this family is something, like, different from the other families that live right? I'm not just a regular, these people. When did you start seeing the legacy, the musical legacy in your family?
I'd say probably first and second grade.
Okay.
When people were running up, my dad would come pick me up. I went to a Jewish elementary school called Woodcrest Elementary, and wonderful education. I always loved promoting them because I learned things in first grade that they tried to reteach me in seventh, but literally. And my dad's just being praised as he's walking up, and I'm like, Dad, what's going on? Are all these people in love with you? And that's when he explained it and broke it down to me. And I was like, oh, all that stuff that we do at home all the time is stuff that the world loves. Okay, cool.
Yeah, I heard.
And that was the legacy of DeBarge.
Yeah, I've heard, like Harrison Ford mentioned, that his kids just think he's a dumb dad, like every other kid of 14-year-olds. And we think of Harrison Ford as this amazing actor, but the kids at home, he's just dad, right? So I wonder, so do you remember the moment when you decided, I'm not just part of the story, I need to make my own story, I need to tell? Like, when did that happen?
I think that happened the right way most recently. That's actually why I did the song on my Prince. Mm-hmm. Because after that whole thing, I was struggling. You know, I went through my mental turmoil. Yeah. And so to step away from that part of the story and get away from the and the blase, because it really wasn't all bad. It's just those are the things that rocked me, and I can go deeper into that, but I don't want that to be the focal point. So like you said, like I received that recognition. That was actually for this song. I'm a Prince. And in this song, it's not very R&B. It's more hip-hop R&B because whenever I have a statement to say, I typically want to rap it. And so I was claiming my place and position in the family and in the music industry. And by stating, I'm not a king yet, I'm a prince, and the family name needs me. And I'm adding my stake to it now. And I feel like it's different from when I was younger because it was so territorial and negatively challenge driven from what society made me feel like I should do with my name, and I had to do my own thing rather than just being like a father son, like plumbing where you pass it down. Like you're not fighting your dad for the plumber. You guys are going to help each other and get business. But it was it wasn't presented that to me as a youth. So I really feel strong in that right now, being able to step into my own creation and my own lane and my independence, but doing it with carrying the family name rather than riding alongside it, if that makes sense.
So your relationship with your aunts and uncles and dad right now today is how would you describe it?
Phenomenal.
Oh, great.
Absolutely phenomenal. My dad just recently, we were on, he was checking me on social media to check my things, and he called me and he tells me, he says, son, you've always been Eldra DeBarge, and you have greatness in you. And he tells me, there'll be a void in this world if you don't step into your place, and there'll be a void in this family if you don't step into your place. And it was incredible to me because as I had started giving myself my validation, now here comes, my father, my daddy is the one thing I've always wanted. And so I just felt like that was just
that's so great,
so timely, as we say in the church.
Mm-hmm. So when did the music, it seemed like the music was at first something around you. So when do you think it became something that you saw that was really inside you rather than something that it was something your family did? When did you realize that it had your heart too? Or did you always know?
I did not always know. It was a mystery to me. I started off with poetry and didn't know that I was writing songs. I just, again, Woodcrest Elementary, they were teaching me the arts.
That's nice.
And they taught me poetic schemes, and I was in heaven. The structure. And before I knew it, I was practicing things and recognizing things in songs. And it was a challenge that came from a family member that was like, yeah, everybody knows how to do that. And I was like, no, they don't. And it was like in me kind of stepping to that challenge, realizing, hey, I like this over someone telling me that I'm not good at it. So that was, and then when I was 13 years old, my friend Rashawn had remember those cow books, the cow print notebooks? I don't know if they still have them. Yeah. He shows me his rap notebook. Opens that thing up, man. And I'm like, what's that? And he's like, these are my songs. And that just put everything together for me. I was like, so you mean to tell me this whole time I've been writing songs?
Well, yeah, that's cool. So when a song begins for you, how does it start? Is it melody? Is it lyrics? Is it feeling, rhythm, or is it memory?
Ooh, it's all the song is a frequency. Frequency is life. Mm-hmm. I'm a big spiritual guy, right?
That's great.
So every song in its frequency has its own energy, has its own life, and it's going to begin to speak to me. As it begins to speak to me, I start to kind of let it absorb into my body and my spirit, and we have a conversation, and then I try to deliver what that song wants me to say. Mm-hmm. Now, if it's not that deep and I'm just buzzing and vibing, then it's always melodic first and then lyrically. And then there's always the challenge of when you're in writing groups, well, people want to write from an idea always.
Yeah.
So then, but me personally, if you put a gun to my head and said I had to choose, I would say, give me the first 10 seconds of the song and we'll figure it out.
So, when are you someone who writes from lived experience in a moment, or do the songs just come after time when you reflect for a long period of time? Is it something that just comes to you? Or
all of the above.
Yeah.
I mean, like I can be walking down the street and see something happen, an argument or a disagreement, and that might spark a thought, or I could be watching a movie. I'm a very annoying person to be around in that instance, like because I might want to stop something because I have a complete inspiration. And I don't like the science of art. I respect it. Mm-hmm. I fully respect it, but I don't like it. Like when someone comes in and says it has to be, or the hook should be this, or a song should be that, or pop should be like, I don't like defining it. I just like creating it and letting the listeners define it.
That sounds like you're someone who comes from, when you feel it, you feel the music, it becomes part of you. Because I was going to ask you, the next question is, what makes a song feel finished to you? So that's...
Ooh. A song feels finished to me. What an excellent question. I've only asked myself that before. When it feels finished to me as an artist when I get stuck with it in my head. But I guess it feels finished as a production to give when it really beats well in your cars. Like that's the difference to me. It in your head versus in your car.
I like that you.
And I know that's such an empty answer.
No, I like that you because majority of people who are going to listen to your music are going to like it because they feel it in the car. It just takes them over when they're in the car, and that's why people like music, because it takes possession for a while. And the music I like, and I listen to your music, and I have to be honest, I haven't listened to a lot of R&B, and the sample you sent to me, it took me over a little bit. There was more than just, I'm listening to this song for this guy I'm going to talk to. At first I was doing that, but then I was like, wow, this touches this deep, this goes deep, right? And
thank you.
So because your music, it seems to touch, it's about love, pride, rebellion, redemption, and self-discovery. So which of those themes feels the closest to your heart right now?
I think, I mean, that's literally all my little talking points was love, pride, and redemption. You just snatched my whole answer.
Okay.
No, but to be honest, I think if I had to choose one of those to answer your question, I would say love. It always goes back to love for me. Love, honesty, integrity. And that's really because this song was written by majority by Graham and Pop, on my production team, and I just filled it in with some of myself. I had to change kind of the premise and bring it around more to love and just make sure that the idea of love was overall, like, they wanted it more lustful, but I was like, nah, we got to push for the love. So that came across, that was my influence, and I feel like the way that it applies to my life right now, and the reason why I chose the song is because that's actually what I did. I went into the music industry. I've always told this story. I feel like I'm telling the second chapter now. The first chapter, I'll give you the quick summary. Basically, hanging out with DJ Quick, started off as a backup dancer, make a group with his nephews called Chaotic. I got it tattooed on my arm. I was a little rapscallion, so there's no C's, only K's. If you're LA, you understand.
Yeah.
And then, Suge Knight saying no, Def Jam, that whole, I got a little nervous, Def Jam, that whole debacle came thing. So then that's the first part. So here in this second part, I feel like I'm trading the lust of the industry, trading the lust of that life, the confusion, the greed, the challenging of my father and my name and all that stuff for the love, the pride, the integrity, and the responsibility for what I have to put into the world and taking the mantle of DeBarge.
So we can, because this is your song that's being released on the 15th, right? Are we allowed to say the name already? Is that the name? Am I allowed
Trading
to say?
Lust for Love.
Trading Lust for Love. That's coming out on the 15th, and hopefully this episode will be released around that time. So if you're listening right now, find Trading Lust for Love, and you want to give your website right now so people can find it, or your Insta, where people can find your stuff. I presume it's on
EldraDeBargeJr.com.
DeBarge Jr.
ELDEBARGEJR.com.
Yes, well, I gave you a follow on Instagram, and it was nice. You sent me back a message saying, thank you for the follow, and you sent me a sample of the music. I think that was an automatic thing, but it was nice to get a message when I came.
Oh, well, thank you, because I always wonder how people take that. Like, do you feel like, oh, my God, some bot, I don't want this.
Well, it feels, well, what I was going to say is I liked when you said love, because from someone who's been in your presence, and I'm not just speaking to you over. A lot of people I speak to are just over there, but I've met you in person, and there's a warmth and there's a light from you that is so obvious and overwhelming and enveloping that I think that definitely I would have said love of that list of. This is a man who's of love, and I don't mean in love, but I mean someone.
Thank you.
And there's something there. There's a light, and so I think that's kind of positivity in the world is going to is going to reflect like well on success, I hope, and I believe it will. So do you think that music has helped you understand yourself better?
Oh, absolutely. Music has been my journey. It's been my crutch. It's been my slip and fall. It's been my fail fast. It's just my everything, man.
What kind of songs or what songs have you heard, or your own music that revealed something to you about yourself after you wrote them? Give me an example of something that's moved you.
Ooh, okay. So I have an album that I'm working on right now called the Genesis album, and it's going to be followed by the Exodus. But
okay.
Genesis is I have a song on there called "Somebody Tell the Family," and it blew my mind when I realized, like, hey, you starting to get into it now. Like, you're not playing around anymore. And I said, let me see if I can find some of the lyrics for you guys and give you a little sneak here.
Oh, that'd be great. Yeah.
Here we go.
Okay,
so I found them. So, okay. Somebody tell the family I'm not hating. Somebody tell the family I'm not waiting. Somebody tell the family it's all love. Somebody tell the family it's all good. Somebody tell the family that we should. Somebody tell the family that we could. It's time to show the man in me. Hey, it's time to show the man in me. Ever since I was a baby, I would drive myself crazy with love. Seeing people love my papa, but I didn't quite know what it was. That was Woodcrest, remember? I would sing and make a chorus, but it just wasn't impressing enough. But I just can't escape it. It's a calling on my soul, and I got to face it on my own. Started writing, got excited, and I really started putting it up. That was the Cow Notebook, remember? But I got in my own way, and I really stopped. That was me managing my dad and getting in my own way. I should have just stayed in my own lane. Ugh. Had a baby to... We telling that part of the story?
Oh, I think you just did.
Lord.
Sorry. We can cut that out if you want.
All right, we'll stop there.
So wow, because the question I was going to ask you is, have there been songs that reveal something about yourself after you wrote them?
Well, I guess so. Yeah, there has definitely. I'm an open book, and I do everything for a reason, and it was put on my spirit right now to plant that seed, so I planted that seed. Thank you for giving me the opportunity.
Wow, that's great. I feel it was such a privilege. Such a privilege to hear you sing and then hear you stop to give the reference to what that part of the song was about. I feel so privileged to have done that. And I mean, I can cut this out, but did you say you had a child? I'm sorry.
Yes.
Okay.
It's okay. It's public knowledge.
Public. So this is a child that lives with you in your home?
No.
Okay. So, I mean, I was comparing it to the legacy for your father and your child, right? And how it compares. And is your child, you didn't give your child your name, did you? Your first name, is he? Okay, well.
He's the third.
He is the third.
He is the third, wow. Does he still go by Junior then? Is that how that works? I don't know.
No, he goes by the third. So that's a whole nother chapter.
Okay. Yeah, it's...
love my boy, love my girl. Hi, Eldra. Hi, Madeline. Love you.
Yeah, I'm sensing that this is an area we should steer away from for now. But I mean,
it's not that. I just don't have them in my life as a daily, and it's something that I want. It's something I feel I deserve and I earned. I just don't have access to them for chosen reasons against myself. But that's something, like, I don't shy away from my life. I'm not a person that's hiding. I paused because it was a cute moment to pause in the song, and that's me.
Okay.
I like being charismatic and cutesy and making a moment out of something. So I was like, oh, cool. We can pause here and stop.
Okay. Well, I mean, I'm a dad. I understand that it's there. Part of you living as part of your heart, living outside your body.
Yeah.
Yeah.
I have a song called From Daddy to Maddie on that album Genesis as well.
Wow. So is the Genesis and Exodus, are they Christian albums, or is there Christian? No, they aren't. They wouldn't be Christian like R&B. It would be, you're just using the names from the Bible.
So the thing is, God told me he gave me the strength, and he gave me everything that he gave me for a reason. He wants me to go and sit at the table with them and be amongst them, and he wants me to get his music back.
So I'm thinking about your life. You've built yourself up so many times. You've come back, and what does redemption mean to you personally?
To me personally, it means having both those kids at my side.
Yeah.
That would be full redemption for me. The money, the fame, the notoriety, that'd be great. And then the second part of that, to close it out, because I'm always twofold, would be DeBarge. Would be like wings on my shoulders.
When you say wings on your shoulders, you're talking about you're making a heaven reference, or am I misunderstanding?
Yeah, sorry,
Okay.
I'm metaphorical,
Okay.
artistic. Yeah, it's so. What I mean by that is, like, I'm carrying the mantle that strengthens. The mantle has blossomed into wings. I can carry the name carries me. I have the strength, and the imagery of it is beautiful. It's angelic.
So you said something earlier about the documentaries, and how were you asked, or were you not asked to be in the documentaries, or were you intentionally?
I was omitted.
You omitted, like somebody said, we don't want him in it. Is that what you think?
Yeah.
Or okay.
Specifically.
And
no, I was specifically told.
Oh, you were told, or like they told you we don't want you in it, or what, the producers never contacted you?
I was told never. I'm not going to say the producer said anything directly to me. I would never dare say anything like that. It was just secondhand told to me. First generation of the family told to me. I was literally told to just sit behind the tree and watch.
If you were presented an opportunity to be in a documentary today, do you think you'd go ahead with it?
If they allowed me complete control.
Okay.
Because everybody has an agenda, and I understand that there's corporations and people need to make money, and there's investments and people need to get their investments back. So that's why I would want to do it, so that I could just wink, wink. I might be.
So is it difficult? Is it difficult to be seen clearly when people think they know your story?
No, I don't think so. I think that's on the viewer. You know, the good old the observer. This was that the observer. Getting into my nerd side here.
Yeah, the what's it called?
Experiment, the slit experiment with the observer, basically.
Oh yeah,
you're talking photons and everything.
Oh yeah,
how create your own existence.
You cannot. You change things by observing them. Everything is changed by like the process of being observed. Is that the Slater in the experiment? I didn't know the name of it, but the process of by watching something you change it. I think that's the concept you're talking about.
Yeah, so I feel like everybody creates their own world and their own judgment. You know, a lot of people kind of cut that short by listening to an opinion of a mass, but.
Yeah. So, you know, I do this show, and I started this show, and I don't have a legacy of people behind me. I mean, I do have a cousin who is a TV presenter, well known, like in Ireland, but I don't have a legacy. But I'm thinking about what pressure.
That's what I hear, Ireland.
Oh, Ireland, yeah. Oh, you didn't know I was Irish? You didn't know I was Irish?
I'm Irish.
Is Eldra DeBarge Irish? When your family is Irish?
No, Roberta Sanders is.
Oh, your mom.
Yes.
Wow.
Her name is Bobby Lee DeBarge.
That's great.
But originally, my grandmother, I'm incredibly mixed if you look at my family tree. Like, my grandmother is your complexion, literally.
Wow. So I've known people who have, I have black friends who have, like, grandmas with my complexion. And for those who aren't seeing me right now, you can see on the website, I'm your typical Irish, like ginger with my pale skin. With my but I think about
you're my brother. But anyway, let me stop interrupting you.
So well, I just have to I keep wanting to ask the question, is the pressures, what are the pressures that comes with carrying a family legacy, and what's the gifts that comes from it?
Oh, the pressure is the gift that makes you a diamond. You're either gonna crumble and fold and create coal dust, or you're gonna become this giant valuable rock that still needs to be molded, by the way. If you ever seen a raw diamond, it's not what you put on your wife's hand.
Well, yeah, I mean, if you could have the conversation with yourself back like in 2009, what's something you would tell yourself? Like, what would you tell yourself in 2009 today?
Nothing is going to hurt more than you quitting.
Nothing is going to hurt more than you quit,
than
quitting?
me quitting.
Okay, so I thought the most hurtful thing was being fired, but then later you quit, and that hurt more. Is that what you're saying?
Yes, me sitting with myself and the pain of not expressing my God-given talents. The turmoil churning within inside me.
Yeah.
It was agony.
What does artistic freedom look like for you now?
I have it. What I did is I went and amounted myself to a nice claims adjuster's career. Go State Farm. Thank you for always hiring me for my independent adjusting. And I saved my money, man, got myself a little studio and started working with people again. And now I make music. And now, let me tell all of you artists out there who have problems with producers, you have something called Suno. Get on it and never complain again. I am creating so much music right now.
What's
It's
Suno?
unfathomable. And so it's a website that allows you to artificially create music. However, you could do more than just prompt and say, "Hey, give me an R&B song," and just have it pop up. You can. I'm not going to tell you my secrets.
Yeah.
But you can get in there and really make full-on productions using your productions that you've already made and just polishing your songs. It's amazing.
Well, your song sounds like butter polished, like polished to glowing chrome. They sound really.
Oh, well, thank you. I appreciate that.
So, you're creative, and we do this thing on our show, and it's a little intimidating to present something creative to a creative like you. But we do this thing in the show where we've researched you, we looked at your interviews, we looked at your Instagram, we looked you up, and we wrote a short tribute story about you, which we'd like to read to you.
What?
Yes, we did. I'll send it to you if you like it. But are we going to have now Howie? Howie has fans on the show. People write and say they want to find. I called it the sultry voice of Howie. He's going to read you your story.
Howie.
And people,
I know Howie, by the way. I've met him in person.
Yeah. And he has a sultry voice. So Howie's going to read your story, which is a tribute story that we have written based on research. A tribute story to Eldra DeBarge Jr.
All right.
Wow.
There are some people who enter this world with a name already waiting for them. A name with history in it, a name with harmonies in it, a name with memory, expectation, beauty, and burden all stitched together. And if the world is not careful, it can mistake inheritance for identity. It can look at a man born near greatness and forget to ask what greatness he is building for himself. But that is not the whole story of Eldra DeBarge Jr. Because some legacies are not carried like trophies. They are carried like instruments, tenderly, carefully, sometimes painfully, sometimes defiantly, and over time in the right hands, they begin to make a new sound. El comes from a musical bloodline the world already reveres, but what moves me is not simply where he comes from. It is that quiet, brave work of deciding who to be inside a story that started long before you arrived. That takes courage. It takes courage to inherit a famous name and still choose the harder path. Not imitation, but truth. Not performance alone, but self-definition. Not living as an echo, but becoming a voice. And that is what I see in him. I see an artist who understands that music is not just entertainment. It is memory. It is struggle. It is longing. It is identity trying to become audible. In his work, you can feel that push and pull between roots and reinvention, between what was given and what must be discovered, between the sound people expect and the deeper sound a soul has to fight to uncover. There is something noble in that, something deeply human. Because most of us, in one way or another, are born into stories we did not write. Family stories, cultural stories, stories of expectation, stories of pain, stories that arrive before we are old enough to challenge them. And then one day, if we're lucky and brave enough, we begin to write back. That is what this feels like to me, a man writing back, not in anger, not in apology, but in music, in perseverance, in identity, in the choice to become fully himself. And maybe that is why his story matters, not just because of the name, not just because of the bloodline, and not just because of the history, but because becoming yourself in the presence of history is one of the hardest things a person can do. So tonight, we honor Eldra DeBarge Jr. not only for what he carries, but for what he is creating, not only for the legacy behind him, but for the soul and courage it takes to step forward and say, this is my voice, this is my chapter, and this is my song. And that is a beautiful thing.
Okay.
Wow. Wow, Jesus, thank you so. Wow.
I hope we can. I will send you. I will send you. Sorry, I got a little clamp for a second. I'm a tear. I'm glad that we could find that. I mean, it felt like it was you. What do you think?
I feel like I had so much to say, and I didn't get it all out. And I feel like you were right here with me, listening to what I've been trying to say, and you just summed it up for me, and you really wrapped that up for me, man. That's
great.
I am so honored and humbled to be. I want to say this the right way. I'm honored and humbled to finally feel like I believe you. And I deserve those words.
You do.
And I will honor those words. And I will pay those words forward. Thank you so much for that humbling gesture.
Thank you. I thank you for
Wow.
the energy being in your presence, not just now and even then when I met you. I don't know if if you will want me to say what city it was in, but the just the presence and you. This is so true. Being around you and seeing.
Oh, it's cool. We met in Vegas, baby.
Okay, we met in Vegas. I don't know if people, artists like you, like people to know where they live. I didn't want to say Vegas. Yes, we met in Vegas.
My wife wants me to keep everything under wraps, so that's all I'm gonna say.
Well, that's good. Well, I know that you have to be cautious about everything you say because people get really attached to this, and I'm sure you have people who are very attached to your music and your sound, and you are such a spirit of light that's so obvious that people are definitely going to be drawn to you. But but you also draw what you are, and I think you draw good people because you are a good light. So I think the people who will
Thank
come
you so much.
will be. Wow. So what are you? Let's talk about what are you building right now? What can we see in the future from Eldra DeBarge Jr.?
It's on my heart to say Souls Over Streams initiative.
Yeah.
I really feel like, we all did it, Napster, BearShare and all that, but we didn't realize what we were doing. We didn't realize that the music industry was going to come behind that and sign the life of the industry over to streaming, which led to an overconsumption. And I really feel like we need to get back to, I call it Souls Over Streams because many times people say you're selling your soul. So keeping the soul and the art of music and getting back to direct to consumer, getting back to the love of the music and not the science of it, just needing to just pump stuff out. And I believe that starts with small groups of independent artists. And on my side, trading lust for love, you should trust us. And this love. That's my new single, Trading Lust for Love, releasing May 15th. And I encourage everyone to go to elderbargejr.com. And I just want to thank you guys for inviting me on your platform.
Yeah,
big shout out to Ken Johnston for mixing it, and Graham for being there, producer. And big shout out to Joe Mason, who's helping me do my radio campaign.
So right now is probably what I'm going to play. We're going to play a little excerpt from it. Like right now on the show, I'm not going to play it right now for us. I'm going to edit it in, but we're going to play.
Oh, you got me, Doyle. I know you got me, Big D.
we can play a little bit. We'll decide what part that is that I should play, but we'll put a little bit here, like 30 seconds, a minute of it in right. when this show is released, when you're listening right now, go to eldabardjr.com. It's available because this will probably release the show around May 15, May 20, and go buy it right now. And so the platform that you serve your music on is not like Spotify or Audible. It's your own platform. And that's...
I do have direct-to-consumer, eldabardjr.com, but I also don't want to discourage the people who only want to do streaming. I just want to encourage the people who don't mind supporting in a different way. Yeah. So it is going to be available for the people that are on Apple and Spotify and a couple of the streaming services as well. However, we do encourage people to go direct-to-consumer and just support the artist directly, especially as an independent artist. 1,000 people can change an independent artist's life. It doesn't need to be 1 million people.
Well, I mean, let's go for 1 million. Let's aim for 1 million people to go and download you. At least, okay, let's say 500,000. Let's be more realistic. We like...
let's do it.
I mean, everybody who listens...
Yeah, trade that lust for love. Let's go to that greed.
If everybody who's listening to this show this month would be about 150,000 people, if everybody went and bought that... do you sell it by single or do you sell it by album?
Yes, this one will be by single. And
by single. So what does the single cost for someone to support you?
This is just 99 cents.
So, okay, so if the 150,000 people listening this month go and grab your song, then we'd be able to support this local artist. And because I know being someone who streams...
You would change my life.
I know people who stream on Spotify, you're not getting a ton from that. And it's not I stream on Spotify myself, and there's very, very little goes to the artist, unfortunately. So... let's go and support. And, it's not just the people who are here this month, every month this year. So we need a few 100,000 people to buy your song this year. And then that'll be, because you deserve it. I was listening to your dad's, on Spotify, and there's one song that's been listened to 32 million times. And, but your sound is, you're an Eldar, you're DeBarge, and you obviously have that legacy, but you're also you're independent, and you deserve it. And you have the talent, you have the heart, and that's who we need to help. We need to pursue people and help people with light, who give light to the world, right? And so hopefully...
Light bear. I love that. Yeah. That's the souls of your streams. Thank you, Doyle.
Wow, that's cool. That's cool. Wow. I feel like we're winding down. I have so much to ask you. Let's see.
Oh, we can always speak more another time. It's all right.
Yeah. So, well, hey, this was tremendous, and to get the opportunity to hear you sing and then stop in the middle of your singing to say, "Oh, hey, that's the school." So, the name of your school again, and where is it? That school you're talking about?
Woodcrest Elementary. Big shout out. That's in. It's on Tampa Street. What is that? Encino.
Oh, Encino. So it's Los Angeles area.
Yeah, it's the San Fernando Valley.
So Woodcrest Elementary.
Woodcrest Elementary in the San Fernando Valley. Big shout out. Thank you for educating me and everyone else.
Thank you. Where'd you go to high school?
El Camino Real, baby. Conquistadors.
What? The Conquistadors, El Camino Real.
Yeah.
The King's Highway. That was the name of your high school?
That was my school. Oh, man. Shout out to Mr. Fady. Go look up his story.
What did Mr. Fady do? Was he a teacher?
He was a assistant. He was, I think, his vice principal.
Yeah.
And then he moved up to principal. Mr. Fady allowed me to live freely at school. I could do no wrong. And he ended up being kind of that guy. And he was like taking people to dinners. I'll leave it at that.
Okay.
And then the school turned into a charter school.
Okay. Well, you know what? I'm a teacher. That's what I do. And there are students. Now, I don't know. I kind of got the feeling like Mr. Fady taking people to dinner. It made me feel a little bit icky, but I'm not sure what you meant by that. Okay, so
yeah, there's a little story behind it. I don't want to speak out of place. I just want you guys can look up the facts.
Thank you, Mr. Fady, for the positive things you did. And I'm a teacher who has affected a lot of people positively, but I definitely didn't take students to dinner. So
No, not that, not students, not that. No. Let me clear that up right away.
Okay,
Absolutely
sorry.
not,
Good.
No.
I'm sorry.
No. Business.
We'll cut that part out. Okay,
we'll cut that out. Please.
We leave that part out.
No.
You are. I appreciate you, and I know if you're father listens to this, I think he's going to see somebody who loves and honors him, and didn't always have the smoothest path at times. I mean, my own parents too. I mean, we don't have the smoothest path sometimes, but at the end of the day, you're a rock for him, obviously, and you're a star for him, and he's still he's a star on your boulevard. That is important, right?
Yes.
And but I think it's very possible that you'll have a star there too, because you've got a talent, you've got a heart, and we need people who are listening today. Go log off this podcast now and go to elddebargejr.com and spend 99 cents and be a good person and buy your song. And then the name of your song again is, I remember,
Trading Lust for Love.
Trading Lust for Love. That's
I really appreciate what you said about molding diamonds and love, and even the title "Trading Lust for Love." You're going to create a legacy for your children to be proud of. And
thank you, sir.
Yeah, you're the third and Madeline are definitely going to look back at this and say, "Oh yeah, my dad's a cool guy." And also, I like that. When fame and celebrity hits you strong and powerful, I can tell you're still going to be a down to earth guy. Someone.
Oh,
who,
yeah,
and keep that up. You'll.
They already came after for me. We can't talk about that part because I don't want them coming after me even further. But I told them no, and I'll tell them no again.
Yeah. So, but also your kids. I'm a father and went through a divorce, and there's some hard times in that. There's some hard times, and kids are away and kids are gone, but they come back, babe. They come back because.
Thank you, man. I appreciate that because of, like, in the world of not knowing, my dad can sing his butt off, but I didn't get the man lessons. I didn't get the father lessons. So you pick them up from the fathers in the world, So I appreciate that father moment that you just shared with me because it gives me a little bit of knowledge and confidence to be like, okay, it's not going to all be doom and gloom, man.
Well, it seems bad at times. I went through really dark times where I didn't know where my kids were. I didn't know where my kids were. And
you don't even know what you don't know.
And I went from seeing them. My oldest son, I lay in bed every night with him from about 18 months old to 6 to help him go to sleep because he was a terrible sleeper. And then suddenly, one day at 12, he was gone. I didn't know where he was, and that is so soul scarring. And now he's
you can't protect. Nothing. All of your manhood is just emasculated immediately.
Well, yeah, right now you're in your living room saying, I don't know where my child is right now. I can't go to him right now and make sure he's okay. I don't know where
I don't know if he's okay, if something was wrong. There's nothing I could do.
And when he left, he was sick, and I didn't even know he had 103 to temperature, and then he was gone, and I didn't even know for weeks that there was what was going on, and then eventually, and now he's 19 now, and he's doing great, and we've got a relationship. My younger son is 14, and he's in my life, and it's great. So it gets better. It gets better.
Okay.
And some days it seems bad, and then overnight it says, oh, it's okay now, it's good. So sometimes it's surprising how quickly it can get better. So, and
thank you, I appreciate it.
I mean, I can't imagine the energy you put out in the world that the world doesn't want your kids to be around you. So, I mean, they're going to come back.
It's it's that type of thing, man.
Yeah,
sometimes the better it gets for you, the worse it gets.
I know.
Scenario.
But they're going to be adults one day, and they're going to know
exactly,
and they're going to feel the energy that you have, and they'll come knocking on your door, and they will. So,
thank you.
Hey, this was such a deep pleasure, and this was a really special one, and you got my heart in a knot up here in many places in this conversation, and I was touched, and this was a really fun one. I have to say I was a little intimidated because like R&B is not my area of expertise, but I listen to your music and I'm listening to you. It doesn't have to be my area of expertise. You're an artist who owns it, who has this light and this love for this thing he does, and that can be honored by everybody, right? So,
and I appreciate on the flip side, you being a storytelling platform where I felt more that I could speak for a little lengthy over a time, and I've been trying not to be scripted, but trying to make sure I get my story out, so I appreciate you allowing, because this would never happen on a different type of podcast. They're always just, Eldra DeBarge Jr., what's it like being Eldra DeBarge Jr.?
Yeah.
What's it like being, it's just always the same questions like robots. So thank you so much.
Well, we want to be about stories. So as you close, that's why I always ask my good guest at the end. So we're gonna have some like 14-year-old, 20-year-old like artists, people who are trying to go in the field. What's the piece of advice? What's the elevator pitch? Like if you met an artist right now and you'd like 2 minutes to tell him what he should know, what would you tell him?
If I can give an artist everything in 2 minutes on the elevator, I would tell you, take the time to fight yourself until you're confident enough to beat yourself and not in your way. Take the time to recognize where you are in your way, because you are in your own way. Take the time to recognize the art. Let go of the science. Take the time to believe in yourself more than you believe in the people that inspired you to do this. And once you can look in the mirror and truly tell yourself that you are that king, you are that queen, you are that prince, you are that princess, and it's not a doubt, move forward in that energy. And once you move forward in that energy, anyone that comes against that energy, be brave enough to stay away from them. Only go where you are celebrated. Only go where it is right for you, because life is going to surround you with wrong and negative. It's going to be eating you up. So take your courage and use it to improve yourself. And everything will be all right.
Wow, that is... Wow, I've said that for 250 episodes, and that was
probably the most moving one.
That was the most profound and moving one, and I was like holding my breath through the whole time, and it was.
Shit. Well, good. I'm glad.
Wow, that was such a powerful. And you are a poet, obviously, and you are an artist, and obviously that just came from your soul, and it was poetry. And
yes,
it was perfect, and that was.
Well, thank you.
I can't even get over how privileged I feel to have got this experience with you. And when you become this huge star, hopefully in a few years you'll come back on and honor us again.
Oh, you honor me,
because
of course I will.
I feel like, well, I got to hear these stories, and back when he was. I mean, I don't think you're. I wouldn't describe you as you're someone who's pretty successful now. Like, obviously, come on, 2025, like indie independent male artist of the year. You're not. Hey, you ain't nobody. Come on.
Got a little something going for me.
A little something. Yeah. Okay. Well, hey, thank you so much. This was a privilege, and I will definitely be in touch with you about the next steps. And as I said, I am going to try to release this episode around the 15th. So before we log off, go to LDeBargeJr.com and buy the song from Trading Lust for Love, right? And get it now.
Absolutely. Thank you for having me on the Spirit Talk Show. It was amazing.
Okay. Thank you so much. All the cool people are buying your album right now. Your single right now.
All the cool kids, be there, don't be square. Sunday. Okay, I'm dating myself.
What's that from? Sunday. Nah. Yeah, I'm a foreigner. Hey, okay. Well, thank you. We do have to prep for another a next episode in a half an hour, and we really appreciate you. And I will be in touch soon.
Likewise. Thank you for having me. Bye-bye.
Thank you. Bye.
We should honor the great names that came before. We should respect the beauty, the talent, and the legacy they gave the world. But real legacy is not asking a son to live only in his father's shadow. It is making room to honor the past while also seeing the truth of the person standing in front of us now. So yes, give flowers to the father, but also make space for the son, for his own talent, for his own voice, for his own chapter. And if you care about art, about truth, and about the stories that shape us, then do more than admire legacy from a distance. Pay attention when a new voice is trying to emerge from it. Support it. Listen carefully. Let people become fully themselves, even when they carry a famous name. This is Spirit Talk Show. Now go make a story worth telling.